Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold. We definitely getting ready to move into the reaction video. Like I said, this is my first reaction to the game guy Goldie. I consume his content fairly. You know, I see his clips come up and I see his reels and stuff like that, and he be kicking some flavor. You know what I mean? I finally was able to take some time to get over to his page and really, you know, ingest a lot of what it's about over there. And I like some of the content. So I found this video. I didn't watch it in its entirety. The caption alone was enough for me to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and check this out. I think these two men are on opposing sides with their perspectives, or not necessarily opposing sides, but they have difference in perspective in regards to monogamy, dating, and relationships today. So we're going to see what they got to say. I'm going to chime in with my POV. So, man, let's go.
Yeah. Statistically speaking, man, that woman that you with, you're not going to be with in 2 years. Even if you get married, 50% of marriages fail. So if you're just being realistic, the woman that I'm with, no matter how great the time is, no matter how much I love her, this is probably going to end. So let me just enjoy the day.
Well, all right. And what you're saying, I hear it, but it sounds like it's some trauma-rooted things too. And that's okay, because I feel like I have them too.
Yeah. No, it's for sure, but it's still based in truth.
It is.
How many women have you been in a relationship with in your lifetime?
3.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. I don't do the relationships for real.
Okay, but still, each one of those ended.
Yeah.
And I bet you told each one of them girls you loved them.
Yeah.
And each one of them told them that they loved you.
Yeah.
And it still ended.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that the next situation ain't gonna end the same way?
It's going to if you put that in the universe. For sure, because you came into the relationship thinking it was going to end.
All right, so before they get too far into this, I want to speak to something that Golide said. Shout out to both guys. This gentleman, Golide, I'm not super familiar with, but we'll get familiar together right now. One thing he said to Goldie was, it sounds like, you know, I hear what you're saying, but it sounds like there's some trauma-rooted things there too. I spoke on this on a live stream I was on a couple of days ago, but I'm going to speak on it here, is that as far as the trauma-rooted things, people, the who hurt you phrase is very diminishing. It's one of the phrases that I like the least, because you learn through experiences. I learned from trauma experiences, both, right? The same thing. You know, the experiences were traumatic, right? I learned from traumatic experiences some harsh truths about reality. Does it mean that these harsh truths that I learned apply to everybody I come across? No, but it does mean that I'd have a reason now, due to the scars or the wounds or the experiences that I have, the memories, however you want to word them, right? Due to these things, I now have a reason to develop my vetting process. I now have a reason to evolve my perspective. Now that I know what humans are capable of, now that I know that, you know, women and men are different in these ways, now that I've gained understanding, there's nothing wrong with wrapping my mind around it, even if the thing that I have to wrap my mind around is a bit uncomfortable. And I think that's kind of where Goldie was coming from with his logic. It's like, I don't want it to be this way, but if it's this way, why would I play the game any other way? You know what I'm saying? So let's take this from the top. They weren't too far in. Let's take this from the top.
2 years. Even if you get married, 50% plus, I'm realistic.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, man, that woman that you with, you're not going to be with in 2 years. Even if you get married, 50% of marriages fail. So if you're just being realistic, the woman that I'm with, no matter how great the time is, no matter how much I love her, this is probably going to end. So let me just enjoy the day.
Well, all right. And what you're saying, I hear it, but it sounds like it's some trauma-rooted things too. And that's okay, because I feel like I have them too.
Yeah. No, it's for sure, but it's still based in truth.
It is.
How many women have you been in a relationship with in your lifetime?
3.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. I don't do the relationships for real.
Okay, but still, each one of those ended.
Yeah.
And I bet you told each one of them girls you loved them.
Yeah.
And each one of them told them that they loved you.
Yeah.
And it still ended.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that the next situation ain't gonna end the same way?
It's going to if you put that in the universe. For sure. Because you came into the relationship thinking it was gonna end.
I hear what I hear what you're saying, and that's true. Whatever you think is gonna happen, but I don't think about it in a pessimistic way. I think about it like this: people aren't meant to be possessed, and I feel like that's where the world goes wrong. I feel like people are meant to be experienced for the time that it's meant for it to be together, and y'all grow and y'all learn from each other.
So, do you feel like it's some people that are meant to be experienced for their whole lifetimes?
I don't. I feel like most of the time it's forced. Maybe a very small percentage, but statistically speaking, nobody grows at the same pace.
Right.
So therefore, if you're not
it's 8 billion people on the planet.
Okay.
So it's very possible to meet somebody. I'm not saying
it's possible.
It's very rare.
Possible.
It's rare, but it is possible.
All right, so they are on opposing sides with regards to this, and I'm anxious and excited to see where the rest of it goes. I want to chime in very quickly here and just say that what Goldie is talking about is something that's an uncommon thought process. I don't know. I'm not saying I disagree. I don't know if that thought process across a masses of us would be conducive to a functioning society. I think because essentially it turns into somewhat of a free-for-all at that point. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, how does that change the dynamic of parenting? Because procreation is still going to be a thing. So if everybody, or if the majority of us, not everybody doesn't apply to anything, but if the vast majority of us decided to believe in the thought process of everything got an expiration date on it, or all of this is temporary and we're experiencing each other for time frames and shit like that. If everybody looked at romantic relationships that way, because friendships and stuff like that, networking and stuff like that, you probably can afford to kind of move that way. But when it comes to creating family and then having to raise the kids into somewhat of an adult that's worth talking about, I don't know that thought process among a masses of people is going to work for us from a societal perspective. But let's see how they hash this out. Let's go.
I feel like for the average individuals, you picked your partner based on convenience. You didn't scour the world for the best person for you, the most compatible. It was in proximity, the person you went to school with, the person up the street, the person in your building, the person you met. So therefore, because you weren't even really that intentional about who you were with, you didn't even find out if your morals aligned, this aligned, that aligned. The way people pick partners is not even in a substantial way. So therefore, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to last because it's not even built on anything of real substance.
No, bro. No, your logic's fucked. I'm sorry. No, it's possible. It's
definitely, it's definitely possible.
No. This is my analogy to that is if I tell myself I can't make $100,000, I never fucking will, and that's a fact.
But let me tell you this: I don't even feel like that's healthy to go into a relationship to say. It's a societal thing to say you're supposed to get with somebody and be with them for the rest of your life. That is a societal structure. That is a construct. If you weren't told that from birth, would you naturally say, I'm supposed to get one person and be with them for the rest of my life?
It's one mom for your whole life.
It's a construct, and not just a construct, it's a construct in the Western world, because in Eastern world, you're supposed to have multiple women. So it's not even real. So let's take the construct off of yourself. Would you even say it's natural in your soul to say, I should meet somebody and the goal should be to be with them the rest of my life? I don't believe so.
I have contentment, so yeah, for sure. I don't like meeting new people. I hate meeting.
He just said a big word, and I've spoken about it in the past. Let's talk about it now. Contentment. A lot of people on this side of the planet, Western world, Goldie being a great standard for that, always pushing forward, always desiring more, always striving for more, staying ambitious, staying hungry, staying grinding. The Western world, we're taught to run it up, right? We're not necessarily taught complacency. We're more so taught and indoctrinated with gluttony, capitalism, and pessimism. Comparison is the greatest thief of joy. Also, we're preached on the concept of luxury, and the desire for it is marketed to us as well. And so a lot of folks here wake up and think about what they do not have. So if you have that mindset, always more, forward, run it up, and there's no such thing as enough. There's no standard. There's no deep breath moment for you that you could have. Go check out my code language video on the deep breath moment. If you don't have that, if there's no idea of that in your mind, then you'll never truly experience fulfillment. Your life will be full of peaks and valleys. Rising here, starting over. Rising, starting over. A bunch of resets. And if that works for a person, then it works for a person. I just don't think that's a good thing if it was a mass population of us thinking like that. I don't think it's conducive to a structured and functioning society. I think the kids will suffer the worst. And if the kids suffer, they grow into what type of adults, and then what does that look like? So that's a conversation. Let's go though.
New people. I don't want to meet no new girl all the time. It's too much energy. I got to get to know you. I got to experience. I don't want to do all that shit.
Now, I agree. I agree with that. When you meet multiple people, most of the time it's a waste of time. It's better to when you do have somebody and somebody learns you.
When you say that, in other words, it's a waste of time from with a girl in a relationship, and it's a waste of time from single.
No, it's not a waste of time when you with her, because even if this situation, I've had plenty of women, and just because we not together now doesn't mean that situation when we was together wasn't beneficial. And we grew together, we learned together, we had ups and downs together. I got something out of that. So just because it ended didn't mean that it was a waste of time.
I feel like relationships only end because y'all chose for it to end. I feel like anybody can get through anything if y'all want it bad enough. But it's a matter of...
I agree. That's not a feeling. That's just an actual fact. I agree. That's not a feeling. That's a real fact. Relationships end because somebody tweaking or both people tweaking in a lot of different ways too. Like, a lot of people in relationships, again, I'm not going to speak to the minority. Let's speak to the majority. A lot of people in relationships will complain about fidelity issues, but a lot of times the fidelity issues come from like people either not communicating the things that they feel are missing or the voids that they have, and then they go try to fill those voids other elsewhere, or they feel like they are communicating effectively and they're being ignored and not heard, and time is going on and on and on, and you don't feel like this person gonna fix it, and you get to a place or a space in the relationship where you step out, you become vulnerable and susceptible to stepping out, and you actually go through with it. A lot of times people cheat because of something being missing, something that they feel like they can't say, or something that they feel like they having to say too much. That's a lot of times what cheating is. But even for the people who break up over things that aren't related to fidelity, a lot of times, again, there's no contentment. Any woman that says to me that, I just want, I really truly believe in always, striving for more and for greater and for more and for greater. That's a red flag for me. There's somebody out there that's her type, not me. There is a deep breath moment for me. And for y'all that don't know what the deep breath moment is that I keep referencing, it's that moment where you've gotten to a place in your life where you looking around for a second, you living in the present, you taking in what's going on around you, and you just take a deep breath like I did it. Like if I passed away tomorrow, I'm fulfilled with what my journey consisted of. I got to get to this point right here. Everything past this point to me is extra credit. If you don't have what that looks like in your mind, what contentment and complacency, beautiful contentment, positive complacency, not the stuff where you're being complacent, being a bum. See, we apply terms to the negative so often we forget that these terms themselves are not negative. Complacency is not a negative thing. The misapplication of complacency is a negative thing. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's the frequencies, that the difference in frequencies here. He's spelling it out. The Glow J, he's spelling it out very well. He's saying, hey, listen, I know how to be content. I know how to chill with one woman. I know how to go through ups and downs with a woman without feeling like, because you tweaking for a couple months out of the 50 or 60 years we gonna be together. If you tweaking for a couple of months here and there, I know how to weather those storms versus running back to the streets every time and feeling like, all right, this experience is over because there's turbulence. That now that I'm saying it out loud, it almost sounds like a level of immaturity. Let's go.
How bad do you want it? That's life in a nutshell. How bad do you want it? Anything.
Yeah.
But guess what? Cullinan, right?
Yeah.
Wraith, right?
Yeah.
How bad did you want it?
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't want these bras that bad.
It's not there's such thing as a broad, and there's a difference between a broad and a woman.
Is it?
Absolutely.
What's the difference?
So you're saying you never want to be married?
No. I would never sign on a piece of paper with the government and a woman. I would never do
No,
it.
I can see the piece of paper in government. I do respect.
Oh yeah, would I have a
respect
ceremony with a woman? Yeah, I would.
So if you have a ceremony with a woman, why are you having a ceremony if you already planned for it to end?
Because she wants it, not because I want it, because she wants to do the process of it and make it, because it wouldn't be for me, it would be for her.
So why would you not? It's trauma. It sounds like trauma rooted, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. It sounds very trauma rooted.
Okay, so you would get married
on the paper and stuff?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
So you wouldn't do it on
just
paper?
because I got money and the shit that come with the money behind it.
So you looking for, so the woman that you get with, you looking for a woman to be with for the rest of your life?
I date with intention because I feel like any millionaire, I know anybody around me that's super successful, all are married. And what
Yeah.
does that do? It creates sense of solitude. And when I say that, it's like I know I can call this person, whatever. I can't just call these brides on my phone if I'm in a jam. And it ain't about needing no money. It's in a sense of like just trusting you with the information. I can't trust everybody with my business.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to meet a lot of people, because I'm not going to open up to you. You don't need to know what the fuck what I'm going through in my mind. So it's like if I have one person that really knows me, at least if I have nothing else, and I don't got kids. So it's like I need somebody around me that's like, no, I can comfortably talk to you. I can come. It's bigger than the love and the fucking the same person all the time. Because of course that.
All right, let me jump in and disagree with Glow J. If you looking for somebody to confide in, the wrong place to look is your woman. I have to tell you the despicably harsh truth about that. Confiding in, listen, you got to, I'm talking about, you better walk her there slow before you open up about anything that you could find to be regrettable later. You need to walk her there slow. Test her with a little bit of information, see if she can hold some water. Watch how, listen, just listen to her when she walking back and forth through the crib on the phone with her best friend and see what the fuck they be talking about. You know what I mean? I wouldn't advise niggas to use their girlfriends as confidants. I always recommend people just talk straight to God. I ain't gonna lie to you. Talking to a human is risky. Talking to God, safe. Talking to a human, I don't care who it is, risky.
If I'm with you forever, the same pussy gonna get old. I can't hold you.
Yeah.
But guess what? You got to learn how to recreate that spark. Anything. So yeah, I definitely can, because I've like I said, I've hit 1,000 women. So I know.
So okay. The statistics of marriage, 50% fail. You feel like yours is gonna stand the test of time. But let me tell you this, right? Because I've been with so many women. What I understand is, some people may say it's trauma, right? I understand why they say that. No, I'm just a realist because I've been with enough women that you can't control any woman. You can be with a woman today. You have no idea who she's going to be in 2 years. And that has nothing to do with you. She could have schizophrenia in her family that finally sparks one day out of nowhere. She could get dementia. She could wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You cannot.
Guess what?
Let me finish. You cannot say, no matter how great it is today, you do not know how that woman is going to feel in 2-3 years from now. And I'm not saying to say it's going to end, but to say every single day with this woman, I'm going to cherish it. Every single day with this woman, we're going to make memories. Every single day, I'm going to make sure we're both growing. And if it doesn't, I'll be okay with that. But to say that you can guarantee a woman is going to want you in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you never know what these women going to do.
Goldie,
hey, he ain't lying. Nah, I know he finna ask him who hurt you or some shit like that. And like I told y'all, that's diminishing. But listen, he's not lying, though. He's not lying, fam. People are fickle. I'm not going to make this about women. We could fairly. The people that file for divorce the most are women. The people who be on the internet talking about their exes and you ask them how the relationship ended, and the response is 90% of the time, I left, it'd be women. So we could make it about women, but I'm not even going to do that. People are fickle. People are fickle. They don't come with remote controls. You cannot control them. You can only control yourself. And he's right, too. And when he says it don't even have to have nothing to do with you. It could have something to do with you, but it doesn't have to have anything to do with you. Motherfucker, I'm telling you, I told y'all in the Losing Friends. I keep referencing my other material, but I told y'all in the Losing Friends code language, bro. Motherfuckers just wake up and feel like pushing the button on not fucking with you no more. And it's gonna have and that'll be that. That'll be that. So yeah, his logic is not, off. But his recommendation or his ideology in regards to his approach to the relationship situations, I think that's a bit off base. I think he should be more this is my opinion. I think he should be more resolution based in regards to how to, in this space, how to get to a place where sustainability with one or, because he got resources. So how to get to a place where sustainability with one or a few women is actually something that's in play. Because if you don't think anything is sustainable long term, you shouldn't create any children. If you don't think that, if like Goldie saying he believed that pretty much all relationships these days got an expiration date. That's what he's saying. If that's truly his belief system, he shouldn't create children. Because if you knowing like this can end in 5 years and we got a baby together, my baby 5, and now we try to figure it out, and then you go do that with somebody else and do that with somebody else because you keep hitting the reset and having these experiences with all these different people that you speak of. If you do that a few times, you out here, Nick Cannon, you out here, Future, you out here, you know what I'm saying, and scattered babies. We'll see what the results of all them scattered babies by one man. We'll see what because those are just the celebrity examples. It's a Nick Cannon in every hood, and it's a Future in every suburb. You know what I'm saying? So there's always going to be a man who, for whatever reason, has a high level of appeal to a populace of women, and they don't have discipline to go along with it, and so they run through the streets frivolous, and they make a lot of children as one man. There's a reason why Black women have 1 million more children than Black men, because there are a small percentage of Black men that are attractive to a lot of women, but they don't have discipline. And that's how you get those numbers. You know what I'm saying? So, and that also speaks to the fact that a lot of women like the same niggas. So, but yeah, let's let them continue. Let's go.
Who you be in 2 years?
Somebody completely different. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's growing and evolving, and we might not grow and evolve at the same pace. The things that I believe today, I may refine my ideologies and what I believe in. And just because I refine my ideologies and what I believe in doesn't mean she will. And I've done that. When I made my transition in my life, I had women dedicated to that lifestyle. And when I tried to transition, they just couldn't get, some of them couldn't get with it. And because they couldn't get with it, we broke apart. So with anything in life, somebody might want to get religious. Somebody might not get with that. So you never know. So that's why I say,
well, I mean, that's life, bro. We're all individuals. Of course, we're all different.
Yeah.
It's 8 billion of us. None of us are the exact
I feel like trying to be with somebody forever is just a forced thing.
I don't feel like it's forced. I feel like it's peaceful.
Yeah.
Trying to meet a new bitch every day is kind of forced.
No. I get what you're saying.
Me going on Instagram on my explore page, DM and everything all the time. It's kind of forced to
being in a long lasting relationship for sure will make you more successful, because instead of having a bunch of moving parts, you really you're not spending your time chasing women, having sex with women, going on dinners with women. You would just with one woman and you could be focused on what you're doing.
Yeah. Too many moving parts is always a bad thing. I in my life, I can't do too many moving parts. And certain people, guess what? That's why I'm my individual, and you may be you are your individual, and everybody else is too. Yeah. So with that, if somebody can handle the moving parts all the time, me personally, I can't. I like to be able to know. All right, I got this person here. Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Don't you think it's a little disadvantageous to put all your eggs in one basket and to say, I'm gonna move as if me and this person are going to be together forever?
I think if you have too many eggs in the basket,
it's not in my control if we are or not.
I think if you have too many eggs in your basket, you don't value any egg in the basket because you have too many. But if I have one egg in my basket, I will make sure I don't drop that egg because it's the only egg I have.
And I would say, I think if you only have one egg in the basket, you'll overvalue an egg that's not that valuable. And I see a lot of dudes do it.
No, man, it's about what's valuable to you though, bro. It's about what's valuable to you though, bro. And it's about really just locking in and chilling, because it's almost like Goldie speaking from a position of like, when things become less than ideal in a relationship, or no, he's more so speaking of a position of how fickle people could be and how somebody could how life can just drive people apart, right? Like people can literally just grow apart. He's saying to move in a way where that's never outside of consideration. The fact that you could grow apart from a person for a multitude of different reasons. So I respect his logic in that regard. However, it also can breed a person operating in a fear-based mindset when it comes to dating and relationships altogether. You know what I mean? And then also, like I always say, when you become a man who understands how to be attractive, you become a man of resource. Now that you have your pick of the litter, you do have a decision to make in regards to what type of man you want to be. And if you are a man who's just out here creating experiences, you don't get to pick, just like you don't get to pick how people may change and how people may grow apart. You also don't get to pick how people receive losing you after they've experienced you. So you may be something great for a woman or great to a woman or whatever the case may be. And then it's time for you to go have another experience or whatever you call it, right? But you don't get to choose how much trauma, pain, this, that, and the third that you leave on that woman. You don't get to choose that. You don't get to decide that. You don't. It's outside of your will, your realm of control. So he has to keep that in mind too while he's saying like, you know, nothing lasts forever and this, that, and the third. Like sometimes people be getting in situations that they understand gonna be temporary. Like he's very upfront. The woman might get into that situation understanding that it's gonna be temporary, and then she feel a little stronger than she necessarily even want to, because she can't necessarily control her emotions. And then when it's time for them to hit their expiration date or whatever and part ways, she didn't know she was gonna feel how she felt. She toe up. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the one thing with that. I say this. When it comes to that relationship stuff, if you're a person that's going to pursue monogamy and that's what it is, then you got to get yourself in the mindset of, I understand that this person could wake up tomorrow and change their mind. That's just life, right? I understand that part. I understand that piece of it. But I'm finna move and enjoy it. I'm finna move like today is all I have, because that's the truth. Every day. Today is every day that you given is all that you have. You don't have tomorrow yet. It's not in your possession. It don't belong to you. Not guaranteed to you. Yesterday, over with. So every day, today is all you have. So when you're in a monogamous relationship and you want it to sustain for the rest of your life, I think how you get to end up being at the death do us part of it, or the rest of your life, or long-term longevity, I think you get to that point by focusing on today, each day. Like I was in a long-term relationship some years back. It was like, you know, it lasted for some years or whatever. We was in a situation and I was talking to my cousin about like my mentality and shit. And I was just like, you know, with the shit I've been through up to this point, I had took a little gap in relationships. I had took some space. So this was my first time locking back in a while. And this is a minute ago itself, right? And I was in that situation and I was telling my cousin about my mentality. I was like, shit, I'm just enjoying the day. Like, I know this shit could be over with any day. And he was like, damn, like, for real. I'm like, it don't gotta end at all, you know? But I understand that it can. Like, I understand I've had it happen, so I know it's real. It's like, it's different when you experience stuff. That's why I don't respect when people try to diminish your POV down to like some who hurt you type shit, because it's truly different when you're reaching back to your own experiences. When you in a relationship and you dealing with somebody and they literally like just flip the script off nothing. Hey, I don't really want to do this no more. I couldn't really find the words to say it. I've been feeling like this for a said amount of time. And now I'm just building up, you know, the courage to say it. I just don't want to do this no more. I'm going to be real with you. I ain't do nothing wrong. You ain't do nothing wrong. It's just certain experiences that I want to have for myself. And this is limiting me from those experiences. And if you truly in love with that person who wake up and just change their mind on your ass, or at least they giving you the information that day, shit, you can't do nothing about it except eat that shit. You just got to eat that. You just got to eat that. Flat out. Like, so what he's speaking on is not like it's not a real thing. Like, motherfuckers literally, like, I know a guy who was married, and I won't say his name, of course, but I know a guy who was married. He was taking care of everything. His woman was a stay-at-home, you know, wife, taking care of his child and shit like that. And he was, you know, breadwinner, making good money, got a business on the side and a good corporate job, doing this thing. Man, that man said she literally woke up one day and was just like, I don't want to live the married lifestyle anymore. She said, it's not you. It's not the baby. It's not nothing you provide. It's nothing that you've done. I know you loyal. I've been loyal to you. I just no longer desire to live this lifestyle anymore. And divorced that man. Took him to the cleaners in court. And dude told me he was sitting on the toilet one day with the glicky in one hand and what he said and some pills in the other hand, and he was sitting there trying to decide which way he wanted to go. And the only thing that kept him alive was a phone call from his daughter. So y'all don't tell me that this don't happen. It does happen. So what Goldie's saying, he not saying nothing crazy, but it's just like to take on the ideology of I'm just going to approach everything like it's temporary is not the resolution. I think that's what I'm getting around to. Like, that's not the fix either. Like, his perspective ain't the fix. His logic on point, but his resolution is ass. You know what I'm saying? Let's let them finish. It's only a few more seconds.
We have one women, they don't even know how to catch women. So this woman who's not the best,
they're lame.
Don't talk to them the right way. So they're overvaluing this egg because it's the only one they got. But if you have multiple eggs in the basket and you know you could get a woman at any time, then you're going to make sure the standard of the egg is there.
Well, no.
Yeah. Great video, man. Shout out to Game God Goldie. I'll put his information in the edited version of this video in the description. But y'all go tap in with him and his platform. He got some good information, great life advice for men for sure, and for women who just want to understand like a rich man's POV. If y'all want to if y'all a woman who just desire to lock in a baller or a man of resources, I think his channel is a good channel for women to slide over to see how men like that think, so they can have an understanding of if whether or not that's what they really want or the type of person they need to become to secure that. But yeah, shout out to that, man. My last take on that reaction video is, I think I pretty much gave it right before he finished up, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but I would just say that any man that's juggling women or constantly having women in and out his life at a high frequency is generally an unfocused man. So, y'all take that and do with that what y'all want. If you like what you just saw, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and jump in the comments. Talk to me so we could crack these codes. If you want to support the channel monetarily, go to my website and cop some merch, www.theclassiccodes.com. Or you can shoot me a Cash App. Either way, stick to the codes.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart.